Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Of course, my dog is yelling, barking. I don't know if you can hear that. How's everybody? I hope everyone's doing well. Happy Monday. Super excited to be here. Welcome to True North. I'm Renata Marino, your host, and I'm so excited for today's topic. And I hope that everyone subscribes to my channel. I've been super motivated to talk about the topics of overcoming adversity and pursuing our purpose. It's been a journey for me, and I'm so excited to share with you my journey in different media outlets. This is one of them. And I hope that I can help as many people as possible. So before I get started, I don't know this female founder, but I just wanted to put a shout out to a company that I found that's based out of New York City. I actually don't know if they're everywhere, but I know that they have an online e-commerce site that has been my joy. Everybody knows I love flowers. I get weekly flowers. There's one of my female founder from my female founder community, Blazing Babes. She just left a cannabis startup. She was leading some of the operations there, and now she's at a flower company that delivers flowers, and it's amazing. It's amazing, and I'm hoping I can sign up and get my weekly or twice a month get flowers, because it's very, very soothing and therapeutic for me. It's been my joy over the past couple of years is flowers. But one of the things that this company that I found online, it's called Rosebox. It's out of New York City. And they actually take flowers, like I can't open this one up, and they preserve them. This is a rose, and this is a real rose. And I don't know what chemicals they use, but actually probably should get some. They have an amazing, it's beautiful. The packaging and the boxes. So for anybody who loves flowers and maybe can't, it's a little bit pricey, but I think it's a really good gift for friends. I think it's a good gift for yourself. Anyway, I'm not promoting them. For some reason, I love roses. I love colorful roses, pastel, happy colors. And I bought this for myself, and then there's another one that I bought. I think I just bought this, but it's during I think it was during COVID for my own Valentine's Day gift. So I bought myself my own Valentine's Day gift. It was this and something else. I can't remember. Maybe it was like an outfit or something. But if for anyone who wants to buy flowers and not have to buy them all the time, this is a great gift for yourself and just having in your home. But I just wanted to mention it because I really love it. And I think I noticed it this morning, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give a shout out. I don't know the female founders that launched the company, but they're really amazing. I look at their website. You're going to be really impressed. Really impressed. Anyway, happy Monday. Today, I don't have any notes. There's no PowerPoint. This is just off the cuff. So very casual. Today, I want to talk about something that's really important, that it's always been on my mind, and I'm going to speak about it from a personal standpoint. So for what I went through, and everybody knows I'm and I'm speaking from humility here. I call people out on their bullshit. I've always been like that. I was that in corporate. I've always been like that. I'm personally an honest person, very loyal. When I talk to people, when I tell them when I say I'm going to do something, I follow through. I'm just very committed to being truthful and honest with everyone in my immediate circle and outside circle. Sometimes that can be, not everyone's like that, unfortunately, but it's been a consistent theme in my life. And I'm proud of who I am in terms of, saying it like it is. And, one of the things, so I call a lot of people out on their bullshit. The topic of today is owning your bullshit. So I tend to call people out on their bullshit because, especially if the bullshit was hurtful to me or deceiving me or whatever it was, I just call them out. And I did this in corporate. I did this in conference rooms with all men. Like I'm not here. I don't want to waste I don't want my time to be wasted, and I don't want anyone's time. So and you don't want, you don't want to work with people that are bullshit artists. You know what I mean? It's a waste of your time. And we need to get to a point where in our lives that you just, and then you just don't want to be associate with those people once they are bullshit artists. But I'm going to speak from my own experience myself. So and this is a very humbling statement to make. I'm really good at calling other people out on their bullshit. I'm not good at calling myself out on my own bullshit. And what I mean by that is this. Sometimes, and this is coming from a place of understanding. Many of us don't even know we're full of shit. Many of us have lived a life of this is how it was growing up. So this is how it must be normal. I am not full of shit. This is how it is. And so I'm saying this because I'm finally realizing this about people, is that the way they are is what they're accustomed to from how they were growing up. So I'm not saying I have empathy for those people. I'm saying, I'm speaking from my own personal thing, is I was blind to know what my bullshit was until now, because the way I grew up, this is how it was. And I'm going to say, this is what it is. My bullshit is I accept people's bullshit. I did. My bullshit is that in the past, I accepted people's bullshit and let them walk all over me. That's my bullshit. Okay. Now, it has a lot to do with how I grew up, and it has a lot to do with being a people pleaser, a parent pleaser, and wanting people to love me for me, and wanting everyone to love me for me and love me. Like, I didn't want anyone to not love me or like me. So I would sacrifice a lot of myself to get the approval and love from other people. Anybody. This happened my entire life up until the past couple of years. And it's been a slow process to unlearn this and to figure out a happy medium between how much do you give and how much do you set boundaries. I really had no boundaries with people. And I think that drew me to a lot of relationships where I was just used and abused, and it was really, really toxic for me. It's really, really draining and really unsettling, quite honestly. So accepting my bullshit is the other thing is so that's one of the areas. The other bullshit area that I have, I'm speaking from the heart and from a genuine, authentic place, being very transparent, is, wow, this is probably harder than the other one to overcome, is falling in love with potential. Falling in love with what could be, and believing believing the person, looking at only the good and seeing the good, but not seeing the negative stuff, and like the significant negative stuff, which is, or having this wishful thinking about people, whether it's business, whether it's personal, and being like, well, they have this, and well, they have that, and and being so accommodating that it becomes detrimental to your own health and well-being. That is my bullshit. That is probably the hardest lesson I've learned, is accepting that bullshit of blindly not. And this is what a lot of women do. This is a lot of women. I would say 90% is, and it takes a hell of a long road to get to a place where I'm at right now, where it's a happy meeting between not accepting, being like, no. You need to be able to see you can believe in someone. There's nothing wrong with believing in someone. There's nothing wrong with having empathy. There's nothing wrong with seeing the good in someone. There's nothing wrong with that. But if they're not showing you in real life effort, change, positivity, love, kindness on a daily basis, you're only living in a fictitious world. So there's a fine line between believing in someone and seeing the good in someone and actually seeing their love and support and kindness in real life. Because when we get caught up in seeing, falling in love with potential, that's not real. It ruins our life. It keeps us stagnant. It keeps us not moving forward in a positive direction. It blocks a lot of amazing people that should be coming into our life. And we only have one life. And so that's my bullshit. So how do you identify, I'm sure I have more, but right now, those are the two big ones. And the one thing I will say about this, guys, is that when you own your bullshit, and you clearly can see it. And usually, but just hold on. Usually you can't see it until a big explosion happens in your life. And unfortunately, that explosion hurts a hell of a lot. And it involves a lot of crying, a lot of anger, a lot of resentment. And it just brings you to your knees. And you really need to hit rock bottom for you to be able to have that aha moment where you recognize that you've been in denial of your own bullshit. And that denial is actually preventing you from success. Not only is it's preventing you from overall happiness, career success, having a wonderful, amazing life. And I'm speaking from me accepting people's, looking at people as glass half full, looking at only the good in people, not really believing. And quite honestly, this has led to abuse. This can easily lead to being abused by your partner or in a workplace where you rationalize, and it's really detrimental to your life. And until you literally hit rock bottom, you're not going to be able to get out of it. It's literally, you've got to get to the bottom of the barrel for you to be, some people. And hopefully, we all have these moments, these explosions, and they suck big time. But it's an aha moment where we really have to regroup and do a lot of introspection and really think about our bullshit. And what do we have to do to acknowledge the bullshit and start not accepting it for ourselves and for other people? So that, my friends, is when change happens. And when change happens for the good in us, amazing things happen in our lives. Happiness, love, career success happens. And this is part of True North. This is part of why I want to share my story and admit some of the things that I've been blind to, and know that all of us, we may think we have a perfect life and everything's hunky-dory, but it's always good to take some time out for yourself to really think about, and how did this hit me? Let's figure out how it hit me. Taking a lot of being sad for too long and knowing my worth, knowing my self-worth, and knowing that I deserve the best. And until we get to that place where we invest in ourselves, mental, physical, emotional health, career, we won't be able to see the bullshit. This is what I've learned. It's taken a hell of a long time, but I hope that I can impart words of wisdom to everyone about being able to recognize that when we're on autopilot, we're just going through the motions and we're not seeing that we have our own bullshit. And it has a lot to do with denial. It has a lot to do with shame. It has a lot to do with not wanting to feel the pain and the hurt from the past. is when we are living in denial. It is really, really tough. It's one of the toughest things. So, what kind of advice can I give everyone about recognizing the bullshit? I mean, first of all, I would say step one is invest in yourself, really take care of your health, take care of your, and do things you love. Um, and, you know, so once you establish self-love and self-worth, you're able to actually clearly see your worth, and then you could start uncovering, like, wow, I'm accepting this bullshit. This is in my case, I'm accepting this bullshit. This is my own bullshit, because and I think maybe I always thought that viewing people as having empathy meant, and being a nice girl, a nice person, meant that I accept the bullshit from other people and I look at them as glass half full. Oh, but they have this. Oh, but they have that. And not really seeing their true colors, and not seeing how they're treating me and how they are to me, and that they're just not delivering. And so you need to believe that you deserve the best to be able to see something like that. Now, there's different types of bullshit. Okay, there's different types of bullshit. Some people can be in denial about, like, an overeating problem or a drug problem or an alcohol problem. And the other thing I've noticed is that if you do have that kind of a problem, if you're with a partner or with friends, it's almost impossible for someone else to tell you to change it. Even if they do, it's up to you. Everything starts with you. It's like, I'm going to tell you right here. People have probably said this to me, like, Renata, you're like, you deserve better. Like, this is bullshit, whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but I'm still in it. Do you know what I mean? And so it's been a journey for me to see it on my own. It's been a journey for me to be able to see it and believe it and do something about it on my own. It's taken a hell of a long time. The other thing I want to say about this is not everybody is on your timeline. Some people takes longer for them to see their bullshit. Because they're afraid. It's fear. Okay? It's fear of being vulnerable. It's fear of admitting fault. It's fear. It could be fear. Then it also could be, in my case, like, denial, or this is how it's always been in my childhood, so I guess this is normal. No. It's just a pattern that it's so hard to break old patterns. It's like this. And it's not really like this, but I'm going to give an example. I don't mean to talk bad, but it's not really talking bad. It's like when you get divorced. Like, in my case, when I got divorced, I was with somebody for 17 years, married 15. That's a long freaking time. Do you know that if you're married that long, you establish patterns? Routine, patterns. 17 years. It's not like 5 years. 17. So and the patterns are behavior, not just like, oh, here's the dry cleaning go to, here's the house I live in, here's my car. It's not the material things. Like, oh, tag teaming, like, you're going to pick up like roles. You're changing patterns, behavior, routine, and dynamics between the couple, for example. And this is what was so eye-opening for me, is retraining my former husband on how he communicates with me. I'm not talking about calling. I'm not talking about I am talking talking about that. I think he wanted to, like, meet for coffee physically. And I'm like, no. There's no meeting physically for coffee. No. And so I had the thing about changing and then the other thing is, like, texting. So texting me, calling me, I said, we had to have a power. Like, I only want texts. Text is going to be the form of communication, because I had to set new boundaries, because I had a new life and I wanted to protect my peace. So there were new boundaries that I had to set, but changing that behavior and then changing how he texts, the tone. You know how hard it is to change someone's tone with you, whether it's a phone call, whether it's talking, whether it's a text. And also the content. Like, I had to say, if you're going to have this tone with me, I'm not going to respond to your texts. If the subject isn't about logistics with the kids, I'm not going to respond to your texts. If, you know, whatever it is, I mean, again, like, you have to set new rules. Now, same thing with him. But mostly me. And, protect your peace. So, but changing the behavior took a couple years to do. It was really hard. And now I think we're in a good place of respecting each other's boundaries and recognizing the form of communication and how it should work. And I think we both are in our new patterns of life. And so I think it took a really freaking long time to change our behaviors, to change the patterns, to change the form of communication. And it was hard because, I would get triggered by tone of voice or tone of text, and it would set me off. And I remember talking to my therapist. She's like, Renata, no response is a response. And I had to learn that. And then I also had to learn, when I was triggered by a certain accusation or certain tone, I had to go to my toolbox. I talked to my son about this. What's your toolbox for emotional management? And I had to figure out, like, how am I going to cool off before I start my day, or before I take a call, or because it triggered me, the tone. And so I think, it's hard. It's really, really hard. And so I can't remember what I was talking about. Oh, accepting your bullshit. So changing patterns. So that's the other thing, is when you accept your bullshit and you recognize it, you're like, oh my God, I was been in denial about this the whole time. This is what I was used to growing up. So I didn't know any different. Now I do. And you recognize it, you have to start changing your behavior. Like, let's say, for example, you're addicted to drugs or alcohol. Like, you need to get help. If you recognize that you can't do it on your own, you need to take the step of getting help. Now, no one else is going to tell you to do that. You're going to have to, if you recognize that is inhibiting you from being happy, it's inhibiting you from being healthy, it's inhibiting you for career success, and you can't do it on your own, you have to get help. But that's your decision. It's not somebody else's decision. That's your own personal decision. It's just the way it is. We have to take ownership of our health and our career, and our own level of happiness. So then, let's say you get the help. Now you have to actually change your routine. Like, you have to, like, understand your triggers. Like, for example, like, I understood my triggers for being set off emotionally when I got, like, toxic remarks in whatever capacity. How do I handle that? Also, with respect to being, if it's drugs or alcohol and you need to figure out what is going to be your other healthy coping mechanism that you can turn to be able to help address whatever anxiety you have or whatever issue you have. I mean, I don't know, because I've never been through alcohol or drug abuse or any of that stuff. And I know that they have great facilities locally or nationally, but they help you figure out, how do you manage that? And hopefully it's a healthy coping mechanism, but it's hard. It's not easy. And the first step is admitting that you need help. I mean, oh my God. Well, first of all, admitting your bullshit, and then getting the help, and then actually sticking with it. And I personally think I'm a big routine girl, and I'm a big putting my health first. I recognize a pattern about myself, and we'll just say it, and then we can do cards, is this. I recognize that when I exercise first in the morning, I tend to eat better and drink more water throughout the day. My attitude's better because I have the endorphin high. I dress nicer. I take care of myself. When 1 or 2 days off is not a big deal during the week. But if I get into a pattern where I don't do it first thing in the morning, I'm sluggish. I tend to eat more carbs. I don't eat healthy. My attitude's a little bit not as peppy. I'm always peppy. But it's just like one notch down. It's like this. I think I remember dating someone, and I can't remember when it was. And I remember giving up my workouts in the morning because I wanted to be with this person and spend time in the morning. I'm like, that's fine for like 1 or 2 times, like during the week. But hey, when it becomes repetitive, oh, no, 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 because my entire life falls apart because that is a stepping stone for me to be who I am. So that's the other thing is like, one of my owning my own bullshit is giving up myself for someone else, giving up my must-haves. So so I can, show that I love someone else or want to be with someone else. It's got to be like a nice, happy medium. It's got to be like, they need to know what's important to you. And like, if exercise in the morning and doing my 5 or 6 a.m. is important to me, then there's going to be another time that we're going to have to be together. I mean, that it's called compromise. So anyway, I just thought that would help. Hopefully that's helpful. It's really, really hard to see your bullshit when you grew up. This is how you grew up, or this is how it's always been in your life. It's really, really hard. And I think you really need to hit rock bottom for you to be able to acknowledge that it's an issue and that's been holding you back. It's really, really about acknowledging your bullshit is about recognizing the things in your life that are holding you back from happiness, from career success, and from just living a really strong, healthy life. I hope this was helpful. Have a great Monday. Let's do cards before I say goodbye to you guys. Please subscribe to my channel. I get such great joy doing this every day. It's part of, I want to help as many people as possible and doing it in a positive, uplifting way and being really vulnerable and authentic with what I've been through and hopefully being very as transparent as possible because it's important for us. It's important for us to, if we've learned big lessons in life, to share it with the world. Okay, ready? I love this. This is my favorite part. What surprises you most about where you ended up in life? Oh my God, this is a great question. Oh my God. Let me read that again. What surprises you most about where you ended up in life? Okay, I can't believe I ended up, well, first of all, I can't believe I ended up in Chicago. I gave up a lot. I gave up not living on the East Coast for my then husband because he refused to move. He wanted to be in the Midwest. I gave up being away, being near family. I gave everything up. I gave my entire East Coast love for the East Coast up, where I have my whole network. I mean, everything, where I love Nantucket. I love Boston. I mean, it's a small city. I don't think I'd live there now, but I love my roots, all my network. I gave it all up. My family, I gave it up because he wanted to be in the Midwest. And we had a compromise. He said, we'll build your Nantucket house if you decide to live in Chicago. That was the deal. You guys know what happened. So I love the city of Chicago. I love the city of Chicago. When I came to get my MBA when did I move here? In 2000. I was like, wow, this city is awesome. There's so much life. It's clean. I mean, it's relatively safe. Not really, depending on where you are, but it's big. I couldn't believe how big it was. I couldn't believe how huge, there's so much land. Like I'm used to Boston where everything is walking distance. You can get from Faneuil Hall. I remember I was working at State Street Capitol on Financial District, and I would go for lunch to the North End. It was like a 10-minute walk. Everything is, walking. You just follow the Freedom Trail and you're there. That's what I did. There's two little lines of bricks, the red bricks. Just follow the Freedom Trail and you're in the North End. I get my cannoli. I ordered a salad. I know exactly where I went. I was 24. Those were great memories. I loved being able to walk everywhere. It's quick. It was so awesome. And there was an awesome Italian sub place right near downtown at State Street, Capitol, right across from Meridian. Oh my God. I remember I'm standing in line with all these guys, getting a sub, Italian sub. So good. Those subs were really good. Anyway. So what surprises you most about where you ended up in life? I couldn't believe, okay, so Chicago, the city was great. And we were in the city, and long story short, he wanted to start his own company, his own private equity company, which means we had to freeze all our student loans. Basically, we had no money. I was working, I think, a part-time job or 2 part-time jobs and startups. And this was early 2000s, and we couldn't afford our place. We were living in a beautiful place, downtown Chicago. Oh my God. We had a baby, my daughter, and we're like, we can't afford this because there's no money coming in. When you do a startup, you can't, unless the other person's funding it. And I was working, we had to freeze our student loans, and we had a very expensive, University of Chicago's very expensive school. I think it's over $100,000 each. So we had to make the decision our daughter eventually was going to start school. We had to make the decision to move to a place that had good. We knew that private school wasn't going to be an option in the city for our daughter because that's more an expense. So we had to move to the suburbs. And that's when I couldn't believe I ended up in the suburbs. I wanted a community that looked actually, and I love the suburb I picked. The reason why I picked it because it looked like New England. I was really like, I said, I need to be near the lake. I also need to be near the city. I want easy access to the city. I don't want to be far away because I'll feel like I'm trapped in the middle of nowhere and not near a body of water. I needed to be near a body of water. I knew that. And so when I remember driving through the town, I think we took an alternate route, and I'm like, stop the car. What town is this? Because this town looks exactly like New England with old trees, cobblestone street. It was so quaint and so cute. I think I even saw her hydrangea at some point. I'm like, wait a minute, there's hydrangea here. This is a miracle. And so I fell in love with the town based on the look and feel because I felt comfortable. Older houses, beautiful. It's very affluent, but very familiar to New England. But I knew nothing about the people. I knew nothing about the climate. I knew nothing about the community. And then that's when you don't know until you're in. And I just couldn't believe I ended up in that suburb. Next question. If you only needed 1 hour of sleep per night, what would you do with the extra time? Oh. Something creative, something that makes me happy, not work. Something creative. Spend time with people that I love. Spend time with people I love that light me on fire, that make me happy, that add to my happiness, and do something with them that's creative, like painting, something fun, painting, dancing, going dancing. Oh my God. Stuff outside, like kayaking, active stuff outside, stuff that I've never done before. I would love to do that. What 3 words best describes you? Didn't I get this? Kind, generous, and loving. How have your taste buds changed over the years? Oh, okay. I'm definitely eating less carbs than I used to. I used to eat a lot of carbs. I talked about this on another episode. I'm also willing to try new things. I actually want to try more new things. I want to be in an environment with people and friends and a partner who push me to try new things. That's actually one of the things that actually was an issue for me in my marriage was I need to be around people or with a partner who is introducing me to new things I've never seen or done before, because that keeps me excited. When it's very boring and very the same old, it's just not exciting for me, and I get just unmotivated. So being with people and someone in a community where they can expose me to new foods, new culture, new environment that's like fast paced and exciting is what I love. I thrive on that. I throw me in, and that's the thing that's part of my personality is like you can throw me in whatever environment and I can handle it. Like it's easy for me to adapt. I'm very easily adaptable. I'm never shy or hesitant to try new things. It's a really good question. I like that question. What's the best advice you've been given? This has to do with accepting my bullshit. I mean, honestly, I'm going to admit this, guys. I've been, when people give me advice, half the time, most of the time, I ignore it. I take that back. I've gotten a lot better. I've gotten a couple pieces of advice over the past couple years, maybe year, even recently, that I literally took the advice verbatim and actually made changes to my life and it was hard for me because of pride. Oh my God. I have a lot of pride. I have humility, but I have a lot of pride. And I don't want to admit that I'm wrong. And I don't want to admit that I'm wrong. And I don't want to admit that I need to change. What was the question? What's the best advice you've been given? Love yourself. Put yourself first. You deserve it. Would you return an item mistakenly put into your shopping bag? I would. But if it was a candy bar, maybe I would, because then I'll eat the candy bar. No, I would. I would. It's called honesty. I'm very honest. Probably to a fault, but I prefer that way because I feel good about myself. And when I'm honest with myself and with others, I just feel elated and light and airy and happy. And it's just who I am. It's part of my DNA. And I'm honest. I love being honest. It's the greatest gift. Okay. This is the girl power one. And then I got to go. Hope this was helpful, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. It's a hard one. It's not easy. Okay. Of course. Here's another woman. I have no idea who she is. Ready? Claudette Colvin. No clue. 9 months before Rosa Parks' famous arrest, 15-year-old Claudette Colvin stood up against segregation in Alabama by refusing to give up her seat on a bus in Montgomery. She was arrested and became one of the original plaintiffs in Browder versus Gale. The case led the Supreme Court to declare bus segregation laws in Alabama unconstitutional. Let me just say one thing. This is not shaming Rosa Parks, okay? But I didn't know this 9 months before Rosa Parks, okay? I want to say this very, very clearly. Sometimes certain people get highlighted and acknowledged for paving the way. We need to recognize that 99% of the time, there's probably people prior to them that made room for that person to get to where they are in terms of paving the way. I'm going to say that again. Oftentimes, certain people get highlighted for saving the day, making change, whatever it is. We need to recognize that there are ample people that came before that person that helped pave the way for that person. You know, you think about the women's movement. I mean, gosh, so many women before us helped us get to where we are now. So many women. And we can't take all the accolades and highlight one person as the main person. We have to recognize that there are other people that came before them, most likely, that helped them pave the way. And sometimes you can't see change unless it's an accruing. It's a repetitive thing that happens. It's not like a one time wham bam, thank you, man. It's like, it's literally like it. And you know what? The people who've, rest in peace, that have died, that, this woman, Claudette Colvin, she should be recognized too. So wouldn't it be awesome to have some kind of like timeline for all, let's say you take Rosa Parks, or you take, I don't know, whoever it is, a female leader, and then let's say the subject is like segregation or whatever it is, women's right to vote, and have like a timeline where you see the women who paved the way for that one woman that got like highlighted or Nobel Peace Prize. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to recognize that. And whoever gets the award, whoever gets the Nobel Peace Prize, whoever gets Rosa Parks, whoever gets the acknowledgement, God willing, that they recognize all the women before them or all the people before them that paved the way for them. I think it's really, really important. Have you done something that's right, even though you knew you'd get in trouble for it? Yeah. I mean, I got a divorce. When I got the divorce, it was like wearing the scarlet letter because I was the bad one. I was pretty much, speaking of community, shamed in my community by all the people, all my friends, all the people who I thought were my friends, couples, shamed. It's like walking around with Scarlet Letter. I don't know if anyone's read, is it Nathaniel Hawthorne's Scarlet Letter? It's a classic. It's a classic high school book. It's about a woman who was married, and it's olden days, like colonial times. And her husband went off to war, and she got a notice in the mail saying that he died during battle. And so for years, she mourned, whatever. And then she ended up getting together, whatever, with another man. And I think he was like the minister, you know what I mean? Like the minister of the town. And usually they're single, like a pretty prevalent leader in the community. And her husband all of a sudden came back like, oh, whoops, he's not dead. And like, I can't remember exactly the details, if she was still like hooking up with the minister. I don't know. All I know is there's a lot of like a love triangle thingy. And she had to walk around once they found out. Oh no, I can't remember the timing of when she had to wear this like literal A for adultery. If anyone knows what that means, it means you're cheating on your spouse. She had to actually go around town with the A on, and everybody knew what she did. That's how I felt. It wasn't adultery, but it felt like I was being shamed. You're shamed in your community. It's people ignoring you, people not calling you, people just distancing themselves from you, asking to go out with friends. No, I can't. A lot of the time with me, some of my friends who were married, their husbands didn't want their wives hanging out with me because now I'm single and like I'm on the prowl. Because if I'm out, like they assume that I'm on the prowl for like men, right? Because I'm single. So, and I'm attractive. So if I just draw them in. So we're out, if I'm out with a girlfriend, all of a sudden single guys are going to come to me, and those husbands don't want their wives talking to single guys. So it's very humbling. You feel it's very humbling. So what was the question? So doing the right things. Have you done something that's right, even though you knew you'd get in trouble for it? I wouldn't get in trouble, but I knew it was going to be really hard. And it wasn't just that. That's one of multiple of things. It's starting from scratch again, moving towns, buying all new furniture, getting to a new place, figuring out a new dry cleaning place. I mean, literally starting from scratch, starting from the bottom again, reinventing myself, redoing my career. Cleaning house, finding all new friends, most new friends. I do have a good handful of the originals that I love so much. It's really, really hard, guys, when you up and move. It's really, really hard. It's scary. You have to be so brave and so strong to start fresh, to admit your bullshit, to address your bullshit, to fix it. Because when we do hard things, that's when transformation happens. That's what I want to say about this. That's what this episode's about. When we do hard things, when we admit our bullshit and work on our bullshit, when we are scared to do something and we do it anyway, that's when transformation occurs. That's when positive change happens in our life. That's when we open so much doors for happiness and love and excitement and career success, is when we lean into doing the hard things. And it was really hard to do, but I knew that there was more to life. I think what was driving me was this is not the way the life should be. This is not the way my life should be. What was the question? What was that first question? Yeah. What surprises you most about where you ended up in life? I couldn't believe this is where I ended up. How did I get here? Have you done something that's right even though you knew you'd get in trouble for it? Saying I want out, because how did I get here? I shouldn't be here. I should be in love. I should have happiness. I should have respect. I should have kindness. I should be able to do my career and not have to stay home and serve the man with an apron on. How did I get here? We have to do hard things if we want change in our life. Anyway, guys, I hope that was helpful. Have a great Monday. This was a hard one, but I love it. This is going to be part of what I'm writing in my book. And chapter by chapter, we'll get it done. So I can help as many people, not just women, as many people as possible. Later, guys. Enjoy the day.